Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful Peekaboo Crochet halter top. As you can see in this photo, it can be paired with the Peekaboo Crochet skirt. So we already have the video of the skirt as well as the written pattern. And the written pattern for the top is also available on all my online shops. You can check out all the details in the description box below. And yeah, we also have the Peekaboo Crochet shorts if that's something that interests you. So let's jump right into the materials for this project. And for the sizes, we are going to learn how to make this top from size extra small to size 2XL. That is the scope of the sizing that I'm using for this top. So let's begin. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start off with a slip knot and we're going to make our chains. I'm demonstrating for a size medium and I'll be starting off with a chain of 29. For all the other sizes, just check on the screen and do the recommended number of chains for your size. So I have made 29 chains here, and if you're to notice all the number of chains, the numbers are odd numbers that we consider for the starting chain for all the sizes. Now from here, you're going to make 2 more chains. After your starting chain, add 2 more chains, and then go into the 4th chain from the hook with a double crochet. So we are counting from this one, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, you're going to place 1 double crochet there. And then continue to double crochet all the way across. Placing 1 double crochet in each and every chain. Alright, now we are placing a double crochet into the very last chain at the end of the row, and this should bring us to the same exact number of stitches as our starting chain before adding the extra 2 chains. So if you started off with a chain of 29 just like I did for my medium size, you should be having a total of 29 stitches. Remember, we're considering the number that we had before adding the extra 2 chains. So we have our 29 stitches here. For all the other sizes, just apply the same exact knowledge. And now we are going on to row 2. For row 2, we are going to get 2 stitch markers and we are going to use them to mark a few things. So you're going to get your 29, stitches, and then you're going to subtract 17. Whatever number that you have for your row 1, whatever number of stitches that you have for your row 1, subtract 17 stitches, and this will give us 12. So this number that you get, you're going to divide it by 2 and get your magic number. This number, you're going to count this number of stitches on either side of the panel. So the chain 3 at the beginning of the row counts as a stitch, so we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and into the 6th you're going to place your stitch marker, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, into that 6th stitch you're going to place another stitch marker, just like that. So let me say you had a total of 33, which is for size extra large. You're going to subtract 17, minus 7 is 6. You'll get 16. Divide that number by 2 and you'll get 8. That means this is the magic number for size extra large. So you count 8 stitches on either side and place your stitch markers accordingly. So let's go on to row 2. For row 2, after making your calculations and placing your stitch markers where they're supposed to be, row 2, we're going to start the middle design of the top. So you're going to start off with a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet, and place a double crochet into the very first chain, the very first stitch. So that means we've created an increase at the beginning of the row. Double crochet until you get to the stitch with the very first stitch marker. Alright, we've reached that stitch with the stitch marker. You're going to remove the stitch marker and replace it with a double crochet, just like that. So you can do away with the very first stitch marker. We still have this one though. So from here you're going to make a chain of 3, skip 3 stitches, 1 2 3, and into the 4th you're going to place a single crochet there. Chain 8, skip 4 stitches, 1 2 3 4, and into the 5th you're going to place a single crochet. Repeat that. Chain 8, skip 4 stitches, 1 2 3 4, and into the 5th you're going to place a single crochet. Chain 3, skip 3 stitches, and then you're going to place a double crochet into the stitch with the second stitch marker. So you can remove it, prepare for a double crochet, skip 3 stitches, and then double crochet where the stitch marker was placed before, just like that. So this is what you'll have. You can do away with the stitch marker right now. Then from here you're going to double crochet in each and every stitch until you have 1 stitch left on your row. And when you have 1 stitch left on your row, you're going to place 2 double crochets on top of the chain 3, since it counted as a double crochet. So 1 and 2, and that marks the end of row 2. So row 2 introduces this lace pattern in the middle of the top, and also introduces the increases at the beginning and at the end of the row. So let's go on to row 3. Alright, so now for row 3 we're going to start off with a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. We're still going to increase both at the beginning and at the end of the row. So into the very first stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet. So that means we've increased on this end. 1 double crochet in each and every stitch until the double crochet before the lace pattern in the middle of the top. So we are going to just double crochet until we reach the chain space. So I'm placing my last double crochet here. From here you're going to make a chain of 8, and then go into, skip this chain 3 loop and go into the chain 8 loop and make a single crochet into that space. Chain 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, chain 8, skip the next chain 3 loop and go into the next double crochet with a double crochet, just like that. So we've crossed over from this side to this side. So that is row 3. You're going to double crochet until you have 1 stitch left on your row. And then when you have 1 stitch left, which is the chain 3, on top of it you're going to go in there with 2 double crochets. So that marks the end of row 3. Let's go on to row 4. For row 4 we're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. Turn your work, and just like the previous rows you're going to go into the very first stitch to create an increase on the edge. So we are placing a double crochet into the very first stitch, and then we're going to double crochet all the way until we reach the lace pattern in the middle of the top. So we are placing a double crochet into the very last double crochet before the chain 8 loop, just like that. And then we are going to make a chain of 3, go into the chain 8 loop and place a single crochet, chain 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then single crochet into the chain 8 loop, the next chain 8 loop, and then make a chain of 3, and then double crochet into the next double crochet. So you can see how the pattern is working out in the middle of the top. So you're going to double crochet until you have 1 stitch left, which will get an increase. So 1 double crochet in each and every stitch until you have only 1 stitch left. So when you have 1 stitch left, you're going to place 2 double crochets into that very last stitch, just like that. And that is row 4. We're going to keep repeating rows 3 and 4, 3 and 4 until we have a specific number of rows. So the recommended number of rows will be on the screen. So let me go ahead and do my 14 rows, because right now I'm on row 4, and for my recommended size I have to do a total of 14 rows. So go ahead and keep working rows 3 and 4 until you have this number of rows, and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. Alright guys, now I have made desired number of rows of increasing only once on the edges, and I have a total of 14 rows for my size medium. Now this you should be at a row that has the 3, 8, 8, 3 in the middle. Now we're going on to the next step. Whatever level that you're at right now, depending on the size that you're making for, we are going to start increasing 2 times, making a double increase both at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. This is going to help us create more coverage towards the side. So I approximately have a total of 6 inches for my panel, and for all the other sizes, check on the screen. You should be having a specific number of inches for your top. So now we're going to start doing something different. For row 15, we're going to start making double increases both at the beginning and at the end of the row. So you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet, turn your work and place 1 double crochet into the very first stitch, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So that way we've increased in the very first stitch and the next stitch. Then you're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next stitches until we get to the lace pattern in the middle of the top. So I'll call this row 1 of double increases, and you can mark it. You can use a stitch marker and just mark it. This will be row 1 of the double increases. So double crochet all the way across, and then we are placing a double crochet into the very last double crochet before the lace pattern, and then from here we are just going back to the same flow of the pattern. So you're going to make a chain of 8, skip over the chain 3 loop and single crochet into the chain 8 loop, just like that, chain 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, chain 8, skip over the chain 3 loop and double crochet into the next double crochet. Now we're going to double crochet until we have a total of 2 stitches left on our row. So alright, so I have 2 stitches left on my row. I have this one and the chain 3 on the edge. So those ones are going to get 2 stitches into each. So 2 double crochets into the second last stitch, and then 2 double crochets into the very last stitch. This is going to help us create more coverage towards the side of our top, as I had mentioned earlier on. So as we keep working, you'll see the drastic change and the drastic slant of our top later on. So let's go on to row 2 of the double increases. You're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet, and then double crochet into the same exact stitch to create an increase at the beginning of the row. And then you're going to place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So that way we've increased into the first stitch and the second stitch, and then you're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next stitches. Until you get to the lace pattern in the middle of the top. So I'm placing 1 double crochet into the last double crochet before the lace pattern, and then I'm going to make a chain of 3 and single crochet into the chain 8 loop, chain 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, chain 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, chain 3, and go into the next double crochet with a double crochet. So we've crossed over to the opposite side, and we're going to double crochet until we have 2 stitches left, and those will get an increase. So 1 double crochet in each and every stitch across until you have 2 stitches left. Alright, so we have 2 stitches left, and those last 2 stitches will get 2 double crochets into each stitch to wind up our row. So we are basically going to repeat row 1 of the double increases. We are going to keep alternating between row 1 of the double increases, this one with a stitch marker, and row 2 of the double increases. Keep alternating between that until you have a specific number of rows. So for size medium, I need a total of 11 rows, alternating between row 1 of the double increases and row 2 of the double increases. I need a total of 11 rows. Now for all the other sizes, just check on the screen and do exactly what you're required of, and I'll meet you back when I have my desired number of rows of double increases. Another thing that you should notice is the pattern in the middle doesn't change. It just keeps alternating between the previous row and the next row. So don't try to change it at all. As you can see, we have the same exact thing going on right from the start of the lacy pattern. So the pattern in the middle remains the same. The changes are at the end of our panels, at the beginning and at the end of the panels. Alright guys, so I ended up doing a total of 11 rows of double increases, and now after getting to that level of getting the number of rows that you need for your double increases, we are going to stop increasing. Now we are going to just lengthen our top. Let me first zoom out so that you can see the bigger picture of how the top actually looks like. You can see this slight slant, then the drastic slant, and then now we are going to go flat so that we just continue lengthening our halter top. So we are going to grow this length until we get to our navel area, right above your navel. So for me, since I am going for a cropped version, I'm going to work until I get right above the navel, and I'll let you know how many plain rows that I did for the top. So for the plain rows, you're going to just make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet, turn your work, and then go into the next stitch. We are no longer doing any increases. So you're going to go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet, and then double crochet all the way across until you get to the lace pattern, and do what's required of you on the lace pattern, and of which the last row of double increases should end on a row that has 3 chain 8 loops. So we're just going all the way across. Remember, no more increases from this point onwards. So each double crochet receives 1 double crochet until you get to the lacy pattern. Alright, so when you get to the lace pattern, you just do the same exact process that we've been doing for the 2 rows that we keep alternating when it comes to the lace design. So you're going to make a chain of 3, single crochet into the chain 8 loop, chain 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, chain 8, single crochet into the next chain 8 loop, and then chain 3 and double crochet into the next double crochet. And then from here you're going to just go all the way across, placing 1 double crochet in each and every stitch without any increase. And we're going to repeat this row. I'll be letting you know how many rows of non-increase that I did for my top to get to right above my belly button. I ended up doing a total of 5 rows of no increases at all, and this is what we got. You can see the direction of the top changed to a flat edge, and this is how our work looks like. Now from here you're going to just make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Once you get to above your navel, you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn, and then we are going to make straps at the top of our halter top. You can remove this stitch marker because we no longer need it. Now we're going to go ahead and make plain chains of 200 on both this side and on this side of the top. That's the topmost side of the top. So attach your yarn to this corner, single crochet into the same exact space, and make a very simple chain of 200. Alright, so after attaching straps on each top end of the top, you're going to go ahead and get rid of all the loose ends on your top, either using a darning needle or by tying knots or by using a crochet hook. Just find a way of getting rid of all the loose ends on your top. Alright, after getting rid of all the loose ends, we're now going to lace up the back of our top. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you can see what's going on. You're going to turn your work onto the wrong side or the back side of the work, and you're going to get your two straps, cross them over like this so that you can create an X at the back of the top, just like that. And then you're going to go into the very last row of double increase after the very first stitch and pass through this chain, just like that, and then do the same on this side. The very last row of double increase, pass through that chain, just like that, and then fold over your work like this, and you can see what we have right now. And then from here you're going to skip one row and then go into the next row and lace up. So we are just bringing the chain from side to side. Skip one row and lace up on the next row, just like that. And then if you have a few rows left, now I have a total of 3 rows left, I will skip 2 rows and then pass it through the very last row like this, and then do the same exact thing on the opposite side. And just like that, we have a lace up at the back of our halter top. You're going to get your chains and tie a knot at the back of your top, and that's basically it for this top. And when we turn it to the right side, you'll have something that looks like this. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure I give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video when we are making a matching skirt for this top, and hopefully we shall turn it into a peekaboo crochet dress. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.